If you're thinking of signing up for The Motley Fool, you need to watch this review first. On the surface, it looks like the ultimate stock recommendation service that can massively grow your wealth, but after thoroughly testing their services, I did find a few features that can genuinely supercharge your portfolio. And I got some critical questions about their approach that you absolutely need answers to before you trust them with your money. But before we get into all of that, let's get one thing straight right now. Who is The Motley Fool actually for? And more importantly, is The Motley Fool legit? The truth is, The Motley Fool isn't for the short-term trader looking for a quick win. This service has one target user in mind, the long-term buy and hold investor. It's for the person who wants clear, researched stock recommendations without having to spend hours doing the analysis themselves. Think about the beginner who needs direction, the busy professional who wants curated recs delivered right to them, or, maybe the seasoned investor who just wants a second opinion on growth-focused stocks. But their entire philosophy is built around finding great companies and holding them for years, not days or weeks or months. But don't just take my word for it. When you look at The Motley Fool's user reviews, the story becomes clearer. Take this one user, for example. They said that they knew nothing about investing when they found The Motley Fool, and then they read Motley Fool's free articles for a few months, then took a discount for the first year. Then, even as a novice, they said that Motley Fool helped them gain real knowledge. They highlighted that they go into real depth on why The Motley Fool recommends a company, and they're clear about the risks involved too. So they were happy that they planned to resubscribe at a full price, and yeah. So I think this is a perfect example of really who The Motley Fool is for. This is someone who's willing to learn and follow a long-term plan, but is also kind of a beginner, right? Now, when you compare The Motley Fool with a competitor like Moby, the difference in their core purpose becomes clear. Moby often focuses on faster, trend-driven insights, but The Motley Fool stands out with its decades-long track record, its deep analyst expertise, and a proven history of stock recommendations built for the long haul. But how accurate is The Motley Fool? Well, I saw a revealing thread on Reddit that perfectly highlights this. A user was asking for unbiased reviews of The Motley Fool services, saying that they were surprisingly hard to find. One user chimed in, they were experienced, and they said that they've been a subscriber to Stock Advisor and Rule Breakers for years, and they're happy with them. They own over 300 Motley Fool recommended stocks. That's pretty diversified. They were very honest, saying that their biggest performers are all from Motley Fool Recs, but so are many of their biggest losers as well. They explained that The Motley Fool understands this and the ups and downs of investing, and they let all investors know that they're not going to be able to select winners 100% of the time, right? But their winners win so big that it more than makes up for the losers most of the time. They concluded by saying that after switching from index funds to primarily these individual stocks, they saw results that made them wish that they had switched sooner. I think that tells you everything, really. If you're an investor who values a time-tested strategy, transparent research, and you have the patience to hold stocks for years and years, then The Motley Fool is built for you. It's for the investor who sees their portfolio not as a daily gamble, but as a long-term project. Okay, so now that you know who The Motley Fool is for, let's get into the specific features that make it so powerful. The first and most famous service is the Stock Advisor, of course. This is the cornerstone of The Motley Fool. For over 20 years, Stock Advisor has delivered a track record that has more than quadrupled the return of the S&P 500 as of November 2025. That's a claim that most Wall Street fund managers cannot make. But is The Motley Fool credible? Well, my simple answer is yes. Every month, you get these two stock recommendations that have a lot of depth and research going into them. These aren't just random ticker symbols. They come with very detailed reports explaining the why behind the recommendation. You also get a list of their top 10 starter stocks and the ongoing guidance on what to buy next and how to navigate the market. So this feature alone is why so many people ask, is the Motley Fool Stock Advisor legit? And based on its public track record and my experience, I think the answer seems to be a resounding yes. I saw this review from a user that perfectly captures this. They said, and I quote, "Good insight. My portfolio has had a 22% return over the past year using only recommendations from Motley Fool. Very easy." So that's the power of a simple, focused service like Stock Advisor. But for investors who want even more, there's Motley Fool Epic and Epic Plus. Think of this as the increased professional grade toolkit on top. So Epic hands you everything to build a portfolio that is like this powerhouse with premium recommendations and elite research tools and extra depth into the research. Epic Plus takes it a step further with what they call an AI playbook. This is where it gets really interesting. They use generative AI based on their own data and their own training to assign a score to stocks that evaluates a company's tech infrastructure and how well it's using AI. So this is a really modern tool for a modern market. Next, you have Fool portfolios. This is as close as you can get to looking over the shoulder of Motley Fool co-founder Tom Gardner. This service gives you exclusive access to his real money portfolios. We're talking about strategies that are backed by millions of dollars of the Motley Fool's own capital. You get at least 10 new stocks every month in terms of recommendations, plus you get some deep research on crypto, on AI, and on microcap stocks. So each level kind of increases the amount of stuff you get. One of the portfolios inside of Fool portfolios is called Moneymakers. And this is built on the investing strategy that Warren Buffett called the single most important thing he looks for: companies with proven pricing power. So it's not just theory, it's a real portfolio that you can follow built into this tool. And to tie all of this research together, they also have tools like Fool IQ. So this lets you research any public company with deep financial data and analytics. It's your one-stop shop for due diligence, and it tells you everything you need to know about a company. But perhaps the most exciting new development is their new suite of AI-powered tools called Motley Fool Moneyball. This includes different balls like Moneyball, Microball, Cryptoball, and Allball. So these are databases that use artificial intelligence to score thousands of companies and digital assets from like 1 to 100, and then they score them and rank them. It's a way to quickly evaluate a company's strength across multiple dimensions at a time. For the investor who wants it all and more, there's also Motley Fool One. This is their most comprehensive membership that unlocks the entire research library and all of the powerful tools, including full access to Moneyball. So is Motley Fool a reliable source? Well, the truth is, the Motley Fool has evolved far beyond just a newsletter. It is now a full-scale investment research platform. A site like WallStreetSurvivor.com has even raved about their market-beating performance, highlighting that Stock Advisor and Motley Fool Epic have both outperformed the S&P 500 by a wide margin since they were launched, which I've seen firsthand in my own research. So is the Motley Fool legitimate? Well, from all this data and from personal experience, I believe it is. But you know what? No service is perfect. There are a few things that you should be aware of before you sign up. Nothing is going to suit everyone 100%. The most common critique I found, and one that I did notice in my own research, is about the when to sell guidance. One user put it perfectly: there's not much on when to sell. It is mostly on what to buy, and when exiting out of losses is also critical. He pointed out that it would be useful to get clearer signals on when a recommendation is officially downgraded to a sell. In my experience, this is a fair point. The Motley Fool's strength is in its identifying these long-term winners that you're supposed to hold on to. So their philosophy is to hold through volatility, which means they aren't constantly telling you to buy and sell, just which ones they recommend are solid right now and have a long foreseeable future. This is fantastic for building conviction, but it can be frustrating if you're looking for specific exit instructions for every single stock. But I don't really see this as a deal breaker, right? Well, it's just because their entire model is based on the idea that a few massive winners will outweigh the losers, and that you're supposed to be holding onto these for the long period. This just tells you which stocks are good out of thousands of stocks. It's not going to tell you when to exit. That's up to you. It's just going to tell you which stocks are better. They also provide regular updates on the recommendations, and if their thesis for a company breaks, they'll tell you. But they won't give you like day traders stop loss. For the long-term investor that they're built for, I think this is less of an issue. It's more about trusting their process over a period of years, not weeks or months. Now, when it comes to cost, the Motley Fool's pricing is structured across some different services. They often have introductory discounts for new members, and they have different tiers, and they have like promotion codes, especially on their flagship Stock Advisor service. So for the most current Motley Fool pricing and any active discounts or promotions, and if you want to see their latest offers and any more details about it, make sure to check the link in the description of this video. We try to keep it updated so that you can get the best possible deal. So what is my final verdict in this review? Is Motley Fool legit? Well, it's simple. If you're a long-term investor and you're frustrated with trying to select all these random stocks on your own and you don't have time to spend researching and you just want a service with a proven market-beating track record, then the Motley Fool is absolutely worth a close look. Check the link in the description of this video to get started with their latest offer.